It's almost orgasmic to have people connect.
My name is Martina Bernhofer, and this is Growth Through Challenge, real conversations with entrepreneurs about the human side of building something. Today I'm sitting with Cindy Comeau, the founder and Chief Empowerment Officer of C3 Leadership. Cindy was working with teams for over 30 years all across Atlantic Canada, and then across Canada, and then decided to leave it all and build something on her own. And now you are the intersection of businesses, entrepreneurs, and cultural diversity.
I've made my way here having no idea where I was going. And actually, let's put it out there, I was retired at 54. So my end of my life wasn't going to be to stop. I was going to keep going. So I just took a step sideways, decided, what will I do? Entrepreneurship seemed appropriate for me because I was an intrapreneur within the organization. So being an entrepreneur outside of an organization worked well. I started my business, and it's been a journey of about 12 years now getting here. And I've had a blast, and I really feel that I have a voice for women in business in particular. So I empower women. My focus is to empower women and to help retain our immigrants. So there's bugs out here. This is real. So that's what I focus on. So I organize different events throughout the year. I have a membership for women in New Brunswick only. I don't look to expand. I look at myself as I worked in my career with people across Canada, and I had a huge network. But then when I was retired, I didn't have anybody in my own community because my focus was across Canada. So I had to start building my own network. And in doing so over the years, found many like-minded, amazing women. And I just feel that we are able to help one another. And instead of looking at the world to go out and help the world, we're just going to help women in our province connect with each other. So they say,
the need is there.
Absolutely. They say that our net worth is equal to our net work, and that the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with kind of gauge where you fit in life. So many of us want to and aspire to meet people who are more accomplished and successful, and in order to do that, we have to connect with them. So in my world, I have people who've helped me grow my network, and now in turn I use my platform to help others grow their network.
This is so beautiful. I love that you're doing this.
Thank you.
Especially women out here, they really need some support.
Absolutely. I will say that in my career, because of working with people across Canada, there were many people in the other provinces, primarily out west to start with, which is interesting because everyone thinks everything starts in Ontario or Quebec, but it doesn't. I've learned it starts in the western part of Canada, where there were a lot more females at senior levels. So I'm going back to starting my career. Started it in 79, but was at Blue Cross is where my career was in 1984. And I just found that people across Canada were far more progressive, when it came to women in business. And they were promoted much quicker and recognized for their talents and all that sort of thing than we have been in Eastern Canada. And all of it, I should have brought my water. And what it is it's just that's the way the culture's been. There was never any intent, ill will, or anything like that. It's just that's the way it's been, where in many parts of the world, in Eastern Canada, men were far more dominant than women. So now we're working to change some of that and empower women, because we're just as successful and can be as impactful as men.
So you've been working with all the newcomers and all the local women around there, still a huge variety of different cultures. So what has diving in those different worlds taught you about people and their need for growth?
Good question. Interesting that in my career, because of working across Canada, I had exposure to a lot more different nationalities than we did in Eastern Canada. And there were a couple of times when we had a chance to hire people. And one I can remember, she was from France originally, and then she moved to England, and then she came to Canada. And I really enjoyed her perspective on things. I found it very fascinating. Anyway, so I traveled a little bit when I was in high school. I did the school trips in grade 10 and 12. And we went to France and England, not Denmark, sorry, Netherlands, Belgium. And I just find it fascinating, other cultures. So to meet people, so I had my first mentee, and then I've mentored many immigrants since through different programs.
Okay.
But they, just like me, who's born and raised here, they want to belong. And I want to belong here too. Excuse me, even though I'm born and raised here, when I didn't have my network here, and my last name is Wade, my maiden name is Wade. So Comeau means nothing to people who would have known me growing up before I started my career. So I just have not had a natural network here. So even now when I host events, there could be 100 or 150 people at these events, and I might have known maybe 5 before I started my business.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's very different. Yeah. So I've grown a network with the help of many wonderful people, and we all believe the same thing. We all want a sense of belonging, and we want other women to belong as well. Many times I find that the immigrants that move here, a lot of times it's their spouse that's the one that's coming for work, career, schooling, whatever. And they're looking after their children and getting their children settled, and they don't speak English, so they don't get out very much. And it's hard for them to build a network. So over the years, as we've hosted different events, and we've had wonderful sponsors at all of our events, and when they get tickets as part of their sponsorship, often they will gift some back because they haven't used them all. And as soon as I have any tickets that are gifted back to me, I go out to Immigrants and I gift them to them.
Okay.
And then they get to come because they don't have any, they don't have a lot of money because they're coming to a new country with nothing and having to start from scratch. So, so they'll come. And as soon as they come at our events, for the most part, I'm thinking of things where we're sitting, like International Women's Day or Me Day I just did in January, or our lunches. We've done lunches for quite a while. I ask everybody at the table, first of all, try and sit at a table where you don't know anybody so that everybody's a little uncomfortable, but in a comfortable environment. And then share with everybody at your table what your name is and how we can be of service to you. I just adore that group. They are here, they're trying to make their way, they're learning as much as they can, they're getting as much exposure as possible. I literally am down on my knees begging them to stay, please. We've got 4 grandchildren plus 2 bonus grandchildren in our province, and we want them to have people stay and contribute to the economy and be part of the community. And what was interesting was one of our daughters lives in in Woodstock. And when their oldest, who's now 10, but when she was in kindergarten and graduating from kindergarten, they had all the children line up on the stage. And every child had to say, their name and what country they were from. And there were very few who were Canadian.
Really?
It was incredible.
Oh, wow.
And so for all those kids, they don't have any biases. They don't know anything different. They're just used to all these kids playing together and having fun. And that's my friend. And they have, they don't have those biases. So, the next generation will be in a much better place than our generation.
There is even no language barrier. I see it with my kids.
Right.
There's like other kids playing and coming.
Right.
And they don't know English or might.
No.
They just play.
Yeah.
They just point at things. And
when I was a little girl, I'm going to say 3 or 4, my family rented a cottage for a couple summers, and we were English, and the neighbors who my dad rented from, they were French, and Donna, and she and I played all the time, all summer for 2 years, and neither one of us spoke the other person's language, and we were best of friends. I have no idea how we did it, but we did. So, I mean, you just, it's, so we just, and I share with the Ignite group that in our province, there's, I asked them the question, and feel free to cut out any part of this. I asked the question, how many of you have ever lived in a city of less than 1 million people? No one puts up their hand. So I said, okay, so I'm just so that I'm understanding and you're understanding what I'm asking. Everybody here has lived in cities larger than 1 million people, and they all put up their arm. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Fredericton is smaller than.
No, but all of these people have come from other countries.
Oh, the immigrants.
The immigrants. So they've all come from other countries. So I said, do you all realize our province doesn't have 1 million people in it yet? And they kind of go, no, they didn't really know. They didn't pay attention to that.
Oh, wow.
And then I continue to say, my dad, he's 92 and a half now. He's grown up. I said, how many here, you're in Fredericton, how many know where Marysville is? It's outside Fredericton. And some hands go up. How many know where Peniac is? It's a town outside, a village or whatever, outside of Marysville. And some of them will put up their hand. And I said, so my dad came from Peniac, went through his schooling in Fredericton, or Peniac and then Fredericton. Mm-hmm. And then in high school, once he finished and graduated, he came to Moncton to go to the community college. And I said, that's when, a year or two later, he met my mom. They got married, had 4 kids, settled here and all the rest. And then his career had him travel in different parts of the world. And he built a school in Guyana, which is in South America. And that gave him the flavor of travel. And so my parents traveled, and then that's why I say, we never traveled until I was in high school, but I went on 2 school trips. My sister didn't want to go, but I definitely did. I was like, I'll take her trip. So I just, I had that thing. I loved I loved geography. I loved it. The different cultures and the food and the animals and that sort of thing. So I just find it's like meeting you guys, which I haven't done a lot to meet you, but it's like going to the library and traveling and by meeting somebody else. So I love it. I just love it. And I just want them to feel comfortable here. And I comment on things on social media and I do that. Anyway, back to my father. He did all that, but he had 2 of his closest friends that he went through school with too. They never left Marysville or Peniac. They may have traveled a little bit. I don't think so, but they lived there their whole life. So people in our province, many people in our province, I should just be cautious. Many people in our province, they've not traveled to other countries. So I share with the immigrants that people are intimidated by many of you. You're highly educated. Every one of them have at least 1 master's degree, if not 2, and some are working on PhDs. So we're talking intelligent people.
Right.
And that's intimidating for a number of people in our province. Yeah. Right? So they're not being rude and ignorant and disrespectful to be mean.
Yeah.
They just are afraid.
Yeah. I love this perspective because they probably never thought about that point of view.
No.
Yeah.
No. And then they don't know how to pronounce your names. Neither do I.
Yes.
Martina, that's as good as it's going to get. I'll never try and pronounce your last name. That's who I am. Seema is one of my best friends, and I never try to say her last name.
It's the other way around, too.
Yeah, see, exactly. Our names are weird. I don't even say my last name correctly. If my family were to talk to me about it, they'd tell me I'm saying it the wrong way. Anyway, that's okay. So I just feel that, it comes back to we all just want to belong. Right? That's what we want.
That's beautiful. I love this. And that's absolutely right. And no matter what culture, and I've traveled a lot too, it's always the same pattern and it's always a sense of belonging. Yeah. So when you built that after retirement, that whole, your company and the whole community here, how long did that take you?
Because it's taken me a long time.
Right?
I mean, I retired when our oldest granddaughter just is 13. She'll be 14 in the fall. And right after she was born is when I got retired. So I was 54 at the time. And I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know people here to speak of. So I just started meeting people different ways and grew. So it's taken a long time to grow the network. I hosted some events because once I retired, I did the John Maxwell coaching, teaching, speaking program.
Okay.
And I just wanted a certification. In the insurance world, I was used to a couple of certifications besides having my university degree. But I just felt it appropriate for this next thing in my career to do that. And it's just been a stepping stone. And, you take 2 steps forward and sometimes you take 1 step back. And there's been a lot of learning along the way. But we just so I did a few events to start with, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and I did some before that. But then after that, International Women's Day came 10 years ago. So that one has been a consistent throughout. Even during COVID, we could do that in a studio and using Zoom. Champagne and Pearls came after that. Another thing, because of my age and going through menopause during my career, when I'm one of the generation that were impacted by the study in 2002 that was done that said do not take estrogen or hormones, even though I was later to go through. My friends all had to stop right away. So we had nothing, I had nothing to help me with menopause. Hot flashes every 45 or 50 minutes. That was just normal. But I worked in a career where I was dealing with primarily men, actuaries and accountants.
Okay.
And they're very introverted and shy and all that sort of good stuff for the most part. And there I am having a hot flash, just waving away a fan in front of my face. But I had so many symptoms upon reflection of menopause that I didn't realize I was dealing with, because all these things have just come out in the last few years.
Yeah, that's right.
So now I'm doing Me Day, which is about me, women, focusing on themselves, and menopause. It stands for both. And we just did our first menopause day in January, and it was very well attended.
Okay.
And it's just another way of empowering women and educating women and connecting them with people and specialists and knowledgeable people about what's going on in their bodies and where to go to get help. Right. Yeah. And where to go get help and what you can do. And hormones are not a terrible thing like we've been taught that they were.
Yeah.
So that's another event. But then champagne and pearls. My lunch, I've done lunches. After COVID, I started doing virtual lunches, and then I went on from there doing in-person lunches. And there again, they're just an opportunity for women to come together and network and figure out how we can help each other and all that sort of stuff. So I've been doing it for a long time. It's not been on a trajectory like this. Wow, it's all turned out really well. No, I can tell you it's been an exercise, but it's always been towards what I would have wanted had I have moved to another city. Mm-hmm. I would have wanted to belong. Mm-hmm. I would have wanted to find a great group of women who think somewhat like me. We're not all identical. And that's the thing. People have strengths and weaknesses, and we all complement each other. So
when you say your career now was moving like this.
Oh yeah.
Was that like this in the corporate world as well?
Not really. I was very fortunate in the corporate world. I started as an actuarial or an underwriting assistant, and then I became an underwriter, and then I became a senior underwriter, and then I became a supervisor. Mm-hmm. So at 30 years old, I'm starting to travel across Canada, and the president at the time said to me, we're not going to send two people to do one person's job. And his point of that was, we're not sending a man with you if you can't do the job on your own. And I thought, okay. I can do the job on my own. And that grew confidence in me very quickly. And then through the Blue Cross Life world, I had lots of wonderful experiences, worked with tremendous people across Canada. We developed a Visitors to Canada product. Okay. An actuary out of Quebec and myself developed this product, and it's still being sold today, so that when immigrants come to town and they need some sort of coverage, just to start with, this is something that they can get coverage with. But I am going to say my career was, for the most part, a very positive trajectory. And on the entrepreneurial side, I didn't ever know there was funding available anywhere. Everything I did, a learning curve. One time without giving away too much, I was organizing an event. There were 1,600 people at the Wesleyan Celebration Center. And I had discussed with a group in the city to cater to the luncheon, and they were going to cover the cost. And the week before the event, they called to say they weren't going to cover the cost because it was going to cost them $12,000.
Wow.
So in the end, I had to organize things, and $8,000 later, I was behind because I had to cover that out of my own profits from that event. So there was a lot of learning that way over the years. And I've never been one to look at this as a money-making venture. For me, this is impact. I want to have a positive impact on women and immigrants in our community.
Is that where your title comes from?
Chief Empowerment Officer. Yeah.
How did you come up with that idea?
Well, I don't even remember. When you start your company, they say, well, what's your title? And I'm going, I don't know. They say, well, you're the CEO of your company. I'm thinking, well, there's only me, so that's really tough. So I just go with CEO and founder. Some of the new CEO, president, whatever. I'm just the CEO and founder. But then when I got onto this empowerment side of things, I went, no, that's what the E can stand for. It's not an executive thing. It's all about empowering. Mm-hmm. So that's where that came from.
I love this.
Thank you.
Very unique.
Thank you.
But do you remember one certain challenge where you figured, I don't even know how I should do this
Oh, that happens regularly.
regularly.
I'm serious.
There you go.
Yeah, and you just have women in your network that you reach out to and you kind of brainstorm with them.
Mhm.
And you will always get people with great ideas to give you an insight and suggestions. And there was one time, I think Jenna Hare was the lady, and I was doing my John Maxwell things, and I wanted to pivot away from their events. And so one day I had a call with her, and she said, as I said back to her, you basically vomited on me a lot of ideas. And she actually reached out after the fact thinking that she'd really upset me. And I went, no. I'm just taking everything you said, and now I have to figure out how I can take your ideas and what you've suggested and how they fit in with what my direction is and what I'd like to offer and put something together. And so she said, oh, okay, good. So that's when Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 came up, and they were full day events. And they stood for advancing community together. Now ACT stands for Accelerate Connecting Today. Anyway, back to that one. And it happened, and then my mom was not well, and she eventually passed within a short period of time. And that was 9 years ago in July. And at that time, it took me a month. I got very ill after the fact. I had strep throat. I had secondary burns on my lips. I had thrush in my mouth. I had my 16-year-old cat pass away, and then I got Bell's palsy, all within a month.
Wow.
It was a bad month. And yeah, it was a bad month. Worst month of my life. And I wanted to do my next event based on my conversation with Jenna in October. So I was reaching out, and I had some people helping me to find speakers and promote and all the rest. And so someone put me in contact with a former premier, and so they said, he'll speak. And that will be a name that will draw, and he'll speak.
Okay.
And so the call was arranged for me to have. And when I had the call, I assumed he was already speaking. And he said, oh, no, I haven't agreed to anything yet.
Okay.
And I said, oh, I misunderstood. Apologies. And he said, one of his questions was, why are you so late getting this organized? It's like 2 months away.
Okay.
And then I had to say, well, my mom died in last month. And then the whole wave of grief comes over you, and you start to have tears, and you're apologizing for having tears. And he said, just stop. He said, my parents both died within 6 months of each other. He said, I understand. He said, I will do it for you.
Wow.
So that was really incredible. And that's what I mean. People will step up for you when you ask. Absolutely. When you ask for help. And I mean, I'm telling you, I was in my lowest of lows. So this province has amazing people in it.
Yes. And they're all here to help.
Absolutely.
If you're just authentic and
absolutely.
As you
and
say,
if they understand, what I find about people who don't interact with immigrants is, I said before, they're intimidated. They don't know. They're, and yet once they do have a connection, it's like this light bulb goes off in their minds, and it's like, this is the greatest thing. And they start preaching it to all of their friends, like they met an immigrant, and they go on and on and on. It's actually really funny to watch. Yeah. But you know what? If that's what it takes, that's what it takes, because we're only ready when we're ready. Right?
Yeah.
And like, I have a lot of female friends that are immigrants, and we're just all friends. We all like things together, and I learn from them, and I eat their food, and I celebrate Persian New Year like 4 or 5 times, and I've gone to Diwali 4 times. Like now, I've actually been gifted my own sari that I have from last year. Prior to that, I wore Renata's mother's for her wedding that her father bought her mother. Like this is like, whoa, that's just so special. Yeah. You know,
all the traditions,
absolutely,
where they come from, all the background.
Yes.
I love to get to know all of this too. Yeah. When I was in Malaysia, we had a sari party
there,
and with we were sitting on the floor and eating food from the with the fingers. Yeah. And it's very unusual for our culture, because you only eat like very properly with the cutlery.
Right.
They sit in with the fingers on the floor, and they have their own technique to form the rice to make it fit.
Yeah, and then they have the heat in their food. Yeah, they all laugh. They like to sit around me at Diwali, and they like to see me. And I'll go, "Is this hot?" And they'll go, "No." And I'll go, "No. Is it hot? Does it have heat?" And they'll go, "No." And then I put it in my mouth. Like,
steam comes out. Crazy!
Oh my God! Yeah.
So did any of the former contacts of your whole Canadian-wide network, did that in any role help you to build your community network here, or to do the events here? I
became very comfortable going to the other primarily Blue Cross offices across the country, but I would meet with consultants, excuse me, the reinsurers and people like that, and go to conferences, national conferences. And I learned how to just network and connect with people. Besides, it's part of who I am, learning my strengths, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, I became comfortable meeting other people and carrying on conversations. So that's one of the things I do teach on, is how to network and connect with other people. But I was more advanced as being a female and a feminist in the business world because I wanted a career. I aspired for a career when many of my colleagues didn't. They had a job, and that's all they wanted was a job. So I just think it was, a lot of what's happened over my life just naturally led me into where I am today.
All right, so we just got interrupted by the owner here. Beautiful scenery right at Magnetic Hill in Moncton.
Yes.
You should all come and see. It's beautiful here. Back to you being self-employed. What when you started the events, it comes with a lot of effort. Huge. And a lot of things you have to do by yourself, and all of the departments you have to do. You have to do the marketing, you have to do the organizing, you have to do the sales. How was that for you, and how did you learn that? Did you have special support, or did you just learn that everything to do yourself?
Well, because of organizing events across Canada for many years, I understood how to put the planning together. A lot of it comes out of here. I'm not a project manager. I don't have spreadsheets. I don't have all that stuff. I'm not a techie person. But I would have people that would help. In the beginning, I had a gentleman who was a John Maxwell coach, teacher, and speaker too. So he kind of partnered along with me. It's always been my responsibility financially. It's never been anybody else's. So that when I do that, it gives me the decision-making capabilities. I don't have to converse with other people other than when I want their opinions and things, but I don't need, a team's approval in order to make a decision, because that slows things down in my life. And people always want to volunteer and help. And I always, when I speak of C3, I always say we this and we that. And then people say, well, how many employees do you have? And I go, none. It's just a team of people who want to help, and they all have their businesses. And, most times it's a very beneficial thing for both of us.
So it's a partnership.
Absolutely.
And a togetherness.
When I had the gentleman before, like that's when my mom was sick. My mom had gone in the hospital another time. And I just needed to have someone in case something happened. Like I needed someone to know what was going on. So I shared everything with him. Now I have, for the last number of years, I've had a virtual assistant that I've worked with, different ones over the years. Now I have a couple. So I pay for services, but I don't hire employees.
Okay. So it's more project based.
Yes.
When you need some certain task done.
Right.
Okay. I think that's the way to go when you're like alone, and
absolutely.
Then you can outsource things.
Right. I'm still learning and growing. Like I've gone through the process in the last fall with getting my LinkedIn updated. And so I collaborated and got a grant for that. Collaborated and learned how to do that with Eleanor Austin, New Marketing Today. And then I got the cybersecurity grant. Okay. And I've been working with Natasha Duguay with Weaver on that. Okay. And we're getting close to the end of all that. It's pretty well done, but we decided to bring in my membership that I have group. Okay. So that's being put in there now. I got funding. So I've only learned about funding in the last few years to help with my business, but it's been wonderful. I'm learning more about Women in Business New Brunswick, which is really where I took my first entrepreneurial course from when I didn't have a clue what I was going to be doing. They're more visible in the province from my perspective now, and I'm going to be setting myself up on their roster for coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs in our province. So that's on my list of to-dos. So like right now, like I just said, with renovating my parents' home, I have a bit of downtime now that I can spend on that through the summer and just get my next event going for October. And then it'll be busy October. And I normally do a December luncheon for Christmas. So October, December, into January, and then March. Those are the big ones right off the bat.
Okay. It sounds like you really have had to learn everything from scratch.
Oh, I have to look technology. Exactly. I used to call the help desk 4752, Cindy here, and they'd go, just a minute, we'll come down to your desk. Or no, we're going to take control of your computer from here. Like I'm so used to someone looking after me that way. So now people still have to look after me. Dropbox. I don't know how to get into Dropbox.
Have you ever thought of why am I doing this, Cindy? You were retired. Why do you even do that?
Because I'm not going to sit home and do nothing.
Okay. And the impact you make into other people's life, is that your motivator? Is that what keeps you going?
I love, and this is the word I sometimes use, not on camera. It's almost orgasmic to have people connect. And like someone reached out to me, an organization reached out last week looking for, they wanted me to consider doing some training for them. And I said right off, that's not my area of expertise, but I know a couple people that it is. So I connected them, and now I'm just waiting to see what happens from it.
I love this. When I do the podcast interviews, I get to know all the funny and great comparisons. So connecting people is almost orgasmic.
Yeah.
Last time I had a realtor saying, selling a house is like dating. So
there, see? Yeah, I really get excited about that. And I've always been one with raising 2 daughters. We were not the ones to exclude people. We would invite everybody, and if they chose not to come, that's okay, that's their decision. But excluding people was not fair, because we would never want to be excluded.
Yeah. And beside of really appreciating the network and building the network for your business, what type of advice would you give the listener out there, or especially female listeners or newcomers, beside the importance of network, to just to empower them for their personal growth?
Well, I don't want them to be afraid of growing. There's, you're in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then you move out of that and you go into your strength zone, because you're still using strengths, but they're not comfortable, but you're using them. And then you go into this growth zone because you're learning even more. And when I showed that slide actually to the Ignite group, one of the Ignite groups over the years, they said, where's the money zone? And I went, it's the next one out. The money will come. We all have to believe the money will come. But I just want women to feel that we are so capable of doing anything we put our mind to, and not to allow anybody to discourage us. And if they try to, it's because of their own fear. That's what it is. It's their fear. It's not that you're not capable. And people are going to find that you're not going to get the most amount of support from your family.
Yeah.
Even though we think family is going to be most supportive, many times they're not, because they fear you're growing beyond them.
Yeah. Or
they don't understand, or whatever, and they don't want to try and understand. Like my family had no clue what I did when I had my career, and my siblings today still have no clue what I do, and that's okay.
Yeah,
they're all retired, and two are, one isn't, but I just do what I do. So for women, as long as you've got a passion burning inside of you, like, continue to fuel the passion, because otherwise, what's the alternative?
I love this. And you're basically saying, because a lot of people here are afraid of the word comfort zone.
Yes.
They're like, as soon as they hear you have to step outside the comfort zone, they're like, oh yeah, maybe next time.
Right.
But it's actually not bad.
No.
Because it's just your own fear holding you back.
Right.
And stepping outside the comfort zone is already growth.
Yes.
And it's actually beautiful, because what's coming after this growth is incredible.
You can't even imagine what it's going to be.
Exactly.
No question. Like, I'm not going to skydive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going into skydiving or anything like that. Like, I have my,
I love it. I tell you that. I've been there.
You skydived?
Yes, I did everything.
See, my husband has too. But that's,
bungee jumping is even worse.
No, that's my daughter's bungee jumped. Yeah. In South Korea. And it's like, I don't know what their requirements or regulations are like over there, dear. I don't really know. But anyway, we just need to step out of our comfort zone. Like I said, technology is not my strength at all. And I have to figure things out. And I used to have, like I said, a help desk or a kid at home, but now I don't even have any of that now.
Yeah.
So we just figure it out, and we ask questions, and people help us.
Learn as we go.
Exactly.
Step by step.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I hope this takes away the fear of, like, a little bit of fear.
I hope so. Step out of your comfort zone. Right. Come join us.
Come join us for all the beautiful events Cindy is doing, and describe to the newsletter.
Yes.
On your website.
So I don't actually have a newsletter, but what we do is we have emails that go out regarding our events. So subscribe to that. The membership itself is a smaller, more intimate opportunity. It's called a Constellation. And again, it's for women in New Brunswick. And we have, 55 or 60 members. Send your email into us, and we will put you on our distribution list. And you'll just get a flavor for what we do. Check out C3 Leadership on Facebook. There's lots of pictures there of what we do. We do have another little community of just for women. It's private. It's called ACT, Empower Women. But you have to, and that's a way to get to us too. If you want to apply on Facebook to that, you have to fill out a few things, but you have to give your email address if you want to be part of it. And that's how we capture your email address to add you to our distribution list. So reach out somehow, some way. You've got so many years of your life. Make them all different and more successful, and bring joy to your life. And that's the thing. They say our health has a greater chance of decline as we age when we stop connecting with others. So the connection to people is imperative to keep your longevity.
Never
so reach
stop.
out. Love to hear from you.
Keep connecting. So the links are down below in the comments, in the description. Thank you so much, Cindy, for being here.
Thank you.
And for empowering us to connect and to network and to just appreciate the power of community.
Absolutely.
And thank you for doing all of this for everyone, for all of us. Thanks, Cindy.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All of my guests built something real through something hard. And that story, it belongs to you now. Take it, use it, grow through it. If this conversation moved you, share it with one person who needs it today. And subscribe, because the next story is already waiting for you.